talked about Easter, and yeah, we just hit on Halloween. But what about the modern day Santa Claus? Huh? An American version of St. Nicholas, a 4th century Roman Catholic bishop from Asia Minor who was noted for his good deed and gift giving. The tradition first spread throughout Europe and then found its way to America by the early Dutch settlers. Jackie, is this just Satan's way of robbing Jesus Christ of his glory by spreading yet another diversion to get it off Jesus Christ and the birth of Christ? You can't even spell Santa without spelling Satan.
I never saw that before. That is tricky how Satan gets in the middle of
Amazing, isn't it?
But I always say it goes back to the heart and keeping your family and yourself focused on the person. I know that Trudy loves to say Jesus is the reason for the season. And it sounds trite when we hear it so many times, but it's true. And I didn't even realize it to what you said, but I always looked at Santa really as more business propaganda, that it was the Macy's Santa to get business stimulated during Christmas.
So do you make your child believe in a Santa Claus?
No.
No.
No. I think that is a compromise. Yeah. The reality is that if you make...
What do you tell them from an infant growing up? Because I've got one now that's 2 years old.
You tell them about Jesus. You tell them about who you are as a parent, all those kind of things. Because, again, that's what makes, when they are older, then why isn't Jesus like Santa? Yeah. You know, because now you've lied to them all their lives about this guy that does not exist, not true. Yeah. And then now you go tell them that Jesus is real.
Let me tell you, I've got Jim is here, my oldest son, and he's heard this story many, many times. I was working one day, and I got this phone call from Jim, and he was probably about 11, 12 years old, and he was screaming into the phone, crying hysterically, and he said, "You have lied to me. You have lied to me. All these years, you have lied to me. There is no Santa." And I mean, this child was livid, and I'm telling you, I thought to myself, what have I done?
Yeah. He was
traumatized. By the grace of God, he's a pastor.
He was traumatized.
Well, we quickly got over, or I don't think we ever really bought into the myth of Santa Claus, because growing up in Florida, there was one little glitch that kind of prevented Santa. We didn't have chimneys. We didn't have fireplaces, you know. It was very hot. So if Santa was going to come, he might have been in some Speedos. That whole suit thing didn't probably pass out, because it's about 80 degrees down there around Christmas time. So we never really had that whole thing. We knew it was just propaganda. It was marketing. And, you know, I think that when you really get to it and we think about Santa, the whole essence of it, it is a trick of Satan. You know, if we go to the Bible in Isaiah 14, when Satan even begins to talk about deceiving the angels and leaving the fourth and going out of heaven, he says in Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 through 15, he even says he's going to set up his assembly in the far reaches of the north. Now, where does Santa stay?
North Pole.
The North Pole, right. And it's in biblical scripture. So a lot of times we miss these clever little things that are allowing us to know, yes, where Satan really is, how he works in.
Like Halloween, do you just ignore it and close the door?
Well, I believed in Santa until today, right? I was talking to Lee, so I'm kind of in shock, actually. I don't know what to say about this.
But the truth is, who needs Santa when you have Jesus?
I guess. Right. I feel like I've been lied to.
Today, the truth just set you free.
I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be all right. But
did that change your view on Jesus?
Well, I'm wondering where all my presents came from. But I think really the subtlety here, you know, these holidays that take away from Christianity, they range in variation of subtlety, right?
Yes.
You know, whereas Halloween is blatant, Easter is a compromise, but Christmas is like, it was a celebration of a bishop, of a saint who did wonderful things. So we go from celebrating what is right and holy to celebrating something that is good. It's like exchanging your relationship with God for your relationship with the church. You know, it's good. It's very subtle. So Satan is so subtle in the way that he deceives.
That's what he does. He gives you whatever is going to have an entrance in you. So everything has to be strategically put together. Wise as serpents, harmless and doves. So the reality is that Satan is very cunning in getting into your home. Whatever he has to use, whatever he has to do.
That's why it's so important for us to magnify
right.
the Lord in everything. And I think that's one of the main things we need to do in our own homes. It's got to start there.
Right.
One of the traditions that we do as a family that I just love is we do a birthday cake for Jesus.
I like that,
and my dad decorates it, and we put the candles on, and we sing Happy Birthday to Jesus. And some people think, well, that's kind of weird. Well, what's weirder, an elf on a shelf or a birthday cake for Jesus? You know, I mean, so keep the focus on Him.
But another thing, Lee, did your church have a church on Christmas Day?
No, we did not have
Why?
it on Christmas Day because I decided, and we decided that was going to be a time for them to spend with family. We took a vote. We have done it in the past. We were not against having it, but we talked about how many people were going to be here, how many people were going to be in town. A lot of people are going to be visiting family. But I do know that Christmas is about Christ's birthday.
Right.
And if you know there ever was a time to come together, it would be a perfect time to celebrate His birthday, but we didn't this year.
You know, and what's funny is that we did the same thing. We decided, you know what, we're going to go ahead and let everybody go home and be with family and everything else and be the Christ to their relatives because we don't call that family. But the bottom line is that also during that time, I saw God deal with me from the perspective of feeling further away from God. We're not doing the traditional religious things and having to really deal with the reality of Christ in an everyday sense. And I think that was extremely healthy.
Well, you know what we did? We went in and we didn't start the service until 12 o'clock noon. And we went in not thinking there would be a handful because of Christmas and traveling. The church was packed. We could not believe it. We couldn't believe people coming in, visitors coming in. And what we did was we cut the lights down, we brought the candles up, and we did a communion service. And I'm telling you, it was the most awesome communion service I have ever been in. The Spirit, I'm telling you, was so strong in that place, Cameron. It was awesome.
But I love what you say about being the church. So we usually go on Christmas Eve for service, too, so we can spend Christmas. It's the one day of the year I just stay in my Christmas jammies from the Christian View all day.
Wore them out.
But what it did do is incite a conversation. And I had children from college, children, you know, at different stages. And well, what does Jesus mean to you? And what does this season mean? And how are you worshiping? And how are you acting out your faith? So that was the compromise of not going to Christmas Day service, but it was much more fuller because what they took in turn was they went back and they found, I can't say all of them, but I heard back from some, they found a church and they started plugging in.
Well,
so I think that's important.
I like that. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. Stay with us. I like that.